Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monkeys with Fire. How's everyone tonight? Hope you're all well. Hope you're getting ready for the weekend. So then, we're going to take a look at another role-playing game this evening. Which one are we going to check out? We are going to explore Dead in Space from Free League Publishing. Regulars to the channel will know that we're huge fans of the Morkborg games and the games derived from that rule set, and this is one of those type of games. So if you are a player of Morkborg, then you will be in very comfortable surroundings here. You will know how this game plays, and of course you just have to learn the uniqueness to this particular title, and of course the setting is a futuristic sci-fi setting as opposed to medieval death metal cover type of style that is Morkborg. So let's jump to the table and take a look. Of course, before we do so, I do always say that I am no expert in role-playing games. I have been spending this past year or so getting back into them, exploring all the different kinds of games that are available. There's so much has changed in the market since I last played when I was in my college days. So by all means, if you have any questions, just jot it down in the chat or leave a comment on the video, and I'll do my best to answer that for you in due course. Alright, let's go and take a look then. Okay, so here we go. Here is the book. Straight away we've got this wonderful reflective metallic front, which is very, very cool. Let's take a look here. What does it say? So, Death in Space takes you to the grimy blue-collar future of a dying universe, filled with risk and opportunity, where technology is broken and dirty, and society is harsh and desperate. This book includes an introductory scenario and plenty of tables and tools to get you started immediately. Create unique characters marked by cosmic mutations and void corruption. Customize your crew's spacecraft or space station and salvage spare parts for repairs. Take risky jobs to survive in the lawless and war-torn Tenebris system. So that is the setting. And that's the thing with the Morkborg style of games, is that it's all coming to an end and you're just trying to just stay alive just one extra day before it all collapses around you. So there's always a very bleak setting. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump to the actual PDF of this game. The book itself is reflecting massively off the lights, so it's going to be easier to show the digital version. And of course that's one of the great things about all of the games from Free League, is that there is a digital version, which is very, very handy if you wanted to be able to flick through it at the games table. You've got it on your phone or on your tablet. You can easily do a quick search for something and find it there. Okay, let's see if this is going to work for us. There we go. All right. So then, straight away, as soon as we jump on in, as is custom with these type of books, we do have lots and lots of tables, and you've got an example here, different equipments that we can buy, different electronics for potentially for our ship or our space station, different foods. What type of food do they sell in the future? Well, that's good to see that moonshine is still available even when it is getting close to the end of days. We have clothing, repairs and spare parts, fuel costs for going across the system or between systems, launching from low gravity, so between galaxies, so we can go to a different galaxy. And that's the good thing about this game, is that it's giving you the tools for you to be able to either work within the system that it provides as the example, or to create your own. It's totally free for you to be able to invent a brand new galaxy, brand new planets and star systems. You can pretty much have all the tools to do that. We then, of course, have our credits page. Shout out to the creators and to the graphic artists. Of course, all of these type of games require lots of people. But it's interesting, it does point out some forms of inspiration. This might help players get into the mindset of the game. So it calls out movies such as Prospect, Outland, 2001 Space Odyssey, Firefly, Blade Runner, and then for actual books, the Alien RPG, Solar Blades, Traveller, and of course Morkborg. I always find that the Morkborg games have really wonderful graphic design. They're as much fun just looking at the graphic style as it is to actually discover the game that is within. Sometimes they can be a little bit difficult to read with the changing fonts and styles. Sometimes they can be very explosive on the page. With Death in Space, there's a lot of black pages. I guess it's in space, yeah? And space is black. Good evening, Roger. We're just starting to take a look through Death in Space, which is from Free League Publishing. If you recall, we've taken a look at a couple of games that are based on Morkborg, and this is one such game that has a sci-fi setting. So this is an interesting little page here. It gives you all of the tables, quick reference for you to be able to jump to any particular table, which is very handy, and we'll get to take a look at quite a few of those as we go through. And then we do have our table of contents. So we are introduction, our character creation, our hub creation, and then rules on playing the game, such things as repairs and space travel and combat. And then it goes into details on the Tenebris system, which is the setting for the initial campaign, the initial scenario that's within the book. And then again, more tables and tools. So we get a little bit of insight then on the actual setting. As it says, a collapsing universe. The vast blackness of space is collapsing in a slow grind towards eternal nothingness. That's pretty bleak. And of course, you know, this is ultimately what's going to happen. You know, planets are moving further apart, solar systems are moving further apart. Eventually it's going to get to a point where space travel is, you know, impossible for us to reach certain other places in the far future. So I can imagine that this setting, there's going to be a lot of blackness of space, isn't there? And maybe you wouldn't be able to travel to that. Even the nearby solar system might be actually a fair trek, given how much void is going to be between each solar system and, of course, then each planet itself. It tells us a little bit about a war that has ended a decade ago. So we're still picking up the pieces somewhat. Just trying to keep things going. Keep earning a bit of money, as I say. Keeps just staying alive one day at a time. And so giving more of this sort of bleak background to the setting. The Tembris system has fractured into a multitude of small domains. Much of the system has been abandoned. Old stations orbit vacated asteroid mines. Only a few distinct outposts still send regular updates. Most people have forgotten about other stellar systems. So it's pretty bleak out there. We're getting some nice graphics here. What's this? The Orbital Debris Engineering Model and LiDAR. Okay, so in this book you will find the rules and tools you need to play the game. First, the rules for creating a crew of player characters and their hub in the form of a spacecraft or station. Some details are left up to you to define what they mean for your group in the universe. Second are the rules for playing the game. The book also includes an introduction to the Tembris system, the default setting. You can use this as the starting point for your game. Create your own places, planets, corporations, people, histories and events to make it your own. Tembris is only one star system in an entire universe, and there are many systems both close and far that are yours to create. So we do have a starting scenario. Welcome to the ring. We will not venture into that for those who might want to pick up the game and then introduce it to their table of players. We don't want to ruin anything about the scenario, but we can take a look at the actual the Tembris system. We'll get a little bit of an idea about that. Oh, too far. Ah, so the Iron Ring. The Iron Ring is a massive ring-like structure assembled from thousands of old spacecraft and refinery modules surrounding the moon Inaro, like a belt of metal, divided into irregular-sized sectors. So this is like one great big space station, it would seem. I mean, obviously I've got to draw kind of comparisons to Halo, although this is all actual crafts and machinery. It definitely seems man-made, even though I suppose the Halo is as well, isn't it? Or alien-made for sure. Those who cannot afford their own living quarters are common areas. Wow, that would be quite something, wouldn't it? Surrounding the moon Inara. Okay. Interesting setting. Alright, and so we jump straight on into creating our characters. And as I found with the other Mork board games, creating your character is really easy. And as it details here, step by step, your abilities, your origin, your character details, your past allegiances, your hit points and defense ratings, and then starting gear and starting bonus. So I can imagine that you can create your character pretty quick, though as we've experienced, your characters might not survive particularly long. Don't get too attached to them. You can have some fun. So abilities, there are 4 abilities: body, dexterity, savvy and tech. And generating new values is rolled 2d4, one at a time. The ability value is the first roll minus the second. Your origin can be anything from a different alien species to someone with opinions and a mohawk. Starting from our description, decide on how you want to interpret yours and how you fit into the setting. So we've got a variety of different origins now. The great thing about Mork style games is that near enough everything is a table for you to roll against. Shall we actually do some rolling? Let's see what we might create. I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to put ourselves our dice mat just there. And what do we need? We need a d6. So let's roll. Let's see what we get. We get a 3. We're a punk. Hey, so rebellious and non-conformist with a long history. They have seen civilizations collapse and others turn against each other. So we are stubborn, never give up, reroll any dice roll once per session. So these are the unique bonuses that this particular origin has. We have green thumb. You know everything about plants and what to use them for. You start with a pocket greenhouse and some random seeds. You got a 6, Roger. What are you? You're the void. Oh gosh, here we go. Robed nihility shaman, hidden behind masks, speaking through synthetic voice scramblers. They have seen visions of the edge of the universe. So your ability is a voice of the void. You can make nearby electronics emit static and crackling whispers. And you are masked. You have a mask that you can reshape during rest into the resemblance of another face or mask. At a distance, it fools most. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting one. Alright. Let's continue. Let's see what our characters turn out to be. So some character details. To determine your background, trait, drive and looks, roll or choose from one at each of these tables. Looks like we're onto the D20s. So, I was a punk. Let's see what I got. Have you got a D20 now? Do you want me to roll for you? I get a 16. So I'm a punk asteroid archaeologist. That's different. That's very, very different. You got a 4. You're a technomant. So that's interesting. I'm getting the idea that your character's a little bit... Obviously it's a bit hidden, it's a bit stealthy maybe, but a bit cultish. And now you're a technomant. I guess some of these backgrounds are for you to make of as you will. Maybe you have to work out what a technomant is all about. On to my trait. My trait is 5. I'm a hypochondriac. Okay, nice. What are you going to have on your trait? What have you got? It's a D20 again. So I'm into gardening, but I'm a hypochondriac. with a mohawk. And you got 3. You're cynical. Okay. Interesting. What type of drive do I have? I got a 17. Harmony. So I seek harmony. Okay, that kind of works. I can see how that might work with the gardening green-fingered ability. I guess if we're at the end of times, then maybe... Oh gosh, what's that name of that sci-fi film from the 70s where there's a gardener and he's told to destroy the last forests because mankind has ruined the earth, and it is a starship which has biopods to them. You know that one? Oh gosh, it's got robots in it. 3 robots. You got a 4. A 4. Heritage. So there's something in your past that is driving you forward. What could that be? Again, this is where the game invites you to decide that. So that's interesting. So we're on to character details. What do we look like? Let's see what this punk gardener, how they look. At 20. A suit with holographic patterns. That doesn't quite work for me. I'm going to roll again. An 11. Layers of black fabric wrapped loosely. Okay, I can go with that. I think that would work. What do you get on your looks then? You're not sure about the movie? Yeah. 19 for you. A decorated cape. That's interesting. That sounds quite regal. Or maybe cape with maybe a hood, something a bit more of a cloak. Maybe that might work. Again, you know. Good thing about it, of course, is these are just suggestions. You could always pick if you wanted, if you'd already started to visualize your character. Masked with, yeah. So, well, actually, so maybe if you are leaning into that sort of roguish type of assassin type of character, then a cape and the mask, that seems to all work, doesn't it? You want to be hidden. Okay, past allegiances. So, some still wear their war uniforms, while others do all they can to forget. That's a little bit like Firefly and Serenity, isn't it? Roll or decide your allegiances during the Gem War. Yes, we've got a little bit of that Firefly vibe going on here. 2. Family. You stayed with your family and kin, defending your turf with tooth and claw. Okay, I can see that. Rolled 1. An idea. You held some value, faith, science, or something else higher than war and strife. You made compromises but kept away from the fighting. So that could be interesting. Maybe your character wanted to get involved, but some kind of organization that you're part of forbade you from doing so. And maybe now you've been let loose, or maybe because everything's collapsing, maybe your organization no longer exists, and so that you can do what you want to do now. Maybe. Interesting. But I like, yes, we have the idea, we have family, the winning side in the war, the losing side, the contract, and then none. You sided with yourself and avoided the war as well as you could. Okay. We can determine our hit points and defense rating. And then we go on to some of our starting gear. Different types of starting kits. Different bonuses that we might have. Oh, personal trinket. That's going to be a good one. Let's do that. Let's see what unique item we might have. 20. A DNA birth certificate circuit. Oh. Is that ours? Is that our child? Is that, maybe are we trying to find the person that this certificate associates to? That's an interesting one. Let's try something else. Let's see what else we get. A 6. A notebook with names of people that have treated you badly. I think that would work with your character, Roger. I think you've got a list. And you are traveling the system into different planets, striking out names on a list. Yeah, I think I like that idea. Alright, so we've created our character. We then go on to creating our hub. Now our hub can be either a spacecraft or a station. We've looked at quite a few sci-fi games. Typically, we go with spacecrafts, don't we? But a station might be an interesting idea. So for, as it says here, for a campaign focused on social interaction and intrigue, for example, on the Iron Ring or a moon colony, the station can be a small base, a repurposed spacecraft that is part of a section of the Iron Ring, or something similar. I think that could be interesting. We could have a station location. Of course, I'm thinking Babylon 5 and DS9. They're the ones that jump to mind straight away, but this is more run down, isn't it? And maybe our station is not... I don't know if I would want it as part of the Iron Ring. Maybe it's somewhere else. The Iron Ring is within the system, but maybe we orbit a different moon somewhere. So your starting hub contains a power source and a set of core functions. As the game progresses, you can mount additional modules on it to add new possibilities and further define the purpose of the hub and the crew. So core functions, we've got command center, crew quarters, life support. Additional modules. So again, we do have a step-by-step here. So we have the hub type and frame statistics, power source and output power, hub background and hub quirk. All right, let's check this out. So we have the choice then, starting spacecraft or station. Let's go with a station. So we have some statistics there. We then have our power source and output power. So the output power limits the number of modules the hub can support. So we'll end up, we'll just pick a couple as examples. And double page spread there on an idea of what a ship might look like. But as you can see, it's no sleek Star Trek kind of ship. This is absolutely bolted together with different module parts. Makes me think a little bit of the ships that are part of the Starfield video game. Actually, that could be a lot of fun, couldn't it? Creating your ship from various hub parts. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to do a lot of things you want. So there we go. We do have our background for spacecraft, but we want to take a look at station, don't we? All right, roll the d20. Now we got a 5. Was the site of a holy pilgrimage. Pilgrims still show up. Okay. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I mean, maybe our station is reasonably large. Again, I suppose that I'm thinking of DS9 here with the wormhole. That's interesting. Let's take a look at another one. Let's see what we get. 2 was used for a prison during the Gem War. Okay, that's interesting. So it's quite a good selection there. It was used as an illegal designer drug lab. Drugs were made from the strange fruits harvested close by. That would link in the moon or the planet that we are orbiting. Void runes are carved into the hull. Everybody knows about the hub and always start their sentences with, "I'm not superstitious, but..." Ooh, so maybe the hub, maybe there's some link to an ancient alien race. That would give it an interesting background, wouldn't it? So here we go. This is an idea of maybe what our station could look like. Again, it's not pretty. Okay, so we have a quirk to our hub. Let's find out what that might be. 18. There is graffiti here and there from previous occupants. So that could be a case of, I mean, it says graffiti, but maybe it's these markings. Maybe this, if we got pilgrims arriving to the hub, maybe it's some kind of religious markings. We see it as graffiti, but maybe there's something in there that we're not familiar with. We've just been designing our hub roger. We have the choice of whether it's a spacecraft or a station. We went for a station. You're rolling a 2, so your hub shakes violently when engines or generators work at maximum, causing panels and wires to come off and fall down. She cannot take it, Captain. Okay, so pretty much within a few pages we've created a character, we've created either our ship or our space station. You can see how, you know, we're getting into this at a fair pace. It's not hanging about. Okay, so we go through the general rules, and again, for those of you who've played Morkborg, I think you're going to find that a lot of this is very, very familiar. So it goes through the 4 key abilities, which is body, dexterity, savvy, and tech. Details ability checks, so when a player character attempts to resist a hazardous effect or overcome a challenge where the outcome is uncertain and there is a risk of failure, they make an ability check. So it's 1d20 plus the relevant ability. If the result is equal to or greater than 12, the task is successful. Otherwise, the check fails. Nice and easy. Remember, right at the start, we were getting scores on a d4, weren't we? So we have just a small bonus to what we're rolling on that d20. Player characters have 12 plus BD, so that's body, item slots. So we can only carry a certain amount. We got a little table here on reactions for NPCs. Void points. There is something out there that is constantly watching. A void, always grasping at your inner thoughts. Each failure opens the door a bit more. So, this is interesting. So for each failed ability check or attack roll, a player character gains 1 void point. They can have at most 4 void points at any time. 1 void point can be used to gain an advantage on an ability check or an attack roll, or activate a cosmic mutation. Mutations represent physical manifestations of the void through the player character. So activating a mutation requires spending 1 or more points. Here we go, Void Corruption. When you lose control and let the void surge through your body, it can leave a permanent scars. So this is bringing in a magical aspect to into the game, but of course there is a price to be paid. And of course it helps if you fail at something, then you are able to use this as a bonus, but every time you use that bonus, you're going to pay the consequence. So let's have a look. What could be a possible void corruption? Let's roll, find out. 11. You gain a heightened sensitivity to all pain, 1 extra damage to all hit point loss. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. What void corruption might you suffer from, Roger? I'll roll a die here just in case. But if you have a score, let me know. Oh, it's a 1. You become infected by an anarchy program. So that's one idea. You got a 6. A new eye sprouts from a random place on your body. You have a third eye. Where is your third eye going to sprout from? Will you literally have an eye in the back of your head? You're rolling like monkey all low. Yes, absolutely. So we have a table for cosmic mutations. What might we have? Be a code generator, telekinesis, telepathy, vacuum gills, a void cloud, crystal membrane, tech talker. So the code generator, that makes me think of, is it Mentax? Mentax from Dune? The people who are trained to effectively be living computers. Telekinesis, we see that, and telepathy, that's kind of a bit of an X-Men kind of style. Vacuum gills, no need to breathe. So does that mean you can breathe in space? You don't need to breathe in space. Void cloud, you can create a human-sized spherical cloud around a person or object. All sound and light is stopped within the cloud. So it just means their senses are completely nulled. Crystal membrane, light bends around a player character who becomes invisible while standing still without clothes. Only those actively searching will notice the player character when they move. And then Tech Talker, you can communicate with electronics and give one simple order. For example, open, turn off, or change direction. So that's interesting. You can talk to droids, talk to computer systems. Oh, there's more. There's more. We should be doing it on a D20. Let's roll the D20. That's a 9. Augmented perception. Vision becomes sensitive to the full electromagnetic spectrum, including infrared heat emissions and X-ray frequencies. Also allows for seeing through solid materials. Effects last a short moment. So, Geordie's visor. I guess that's what we got. Go on, roll a d20. Let's see if you get a higher roll, so that we can see something different. See, this is what I like about the Morkborg rule books, is that there's so many tables to roll from, and they're all so creative. 19. Feedback loop. You can jump back 10 seconds in time at the cost of losing one important memory chosen by the player. Oh, that's interesting. Typically, a combat sequence, a round is usually about 10 seconds, isn't it? So effectively, you could do a round of combat. If it didn't go well for you, you could jump back. Oh, that could be really interesting, couldn't it? Because if you played this, if your GM agreed, if you went through a combat sequence, failed in what you were trying to achieve, the roles for the NPCs would be sort of set in place, because that's what happened. So you could then go back 10 seconds, know what the NPCs are going to do, and then either make different decisions or hopefully roll better results. That could be a lot of fun, both for the GM as well, and adds to the sort of story a little bit. But you would have to lose one important memory. So maybe what happens then is one of the elements that you've frozen, the GM can change because you've forgotten that aspect. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a great idea. Okay, condition and spare parts. So again, because we're at the end, everything breaks. There's lots of trying to salvage items, trying to rebuild. So we're getting some rules on how to deal with that. That's an interesting station. Maybe we should have gone for something like that. Again, this is where these games always have interesting graphics included, always good to look at. So we've got details on how to repair. Again, this is a little bit, or I'm equating it to Aliens and to the blue collar space truckers. So you're going to have your repair team, but it's not going to be all flashy lights and white panels. There's dirt and grime and oil and people getting dirt under their nails and banging things with wrenches and spanners. So, off-world. So if we need to go out into space, then we have EVA suits. So giving us some details on what our oxygen supply might be, and communications, cooling systems. Lack of oxygen and exposure to space. Well, if we have those space gills, we'll be fine. Details then on actual space travel. We sat at a table before, didn't we, looking at fuel costs. But then we have some details here on long distance travel, complications while traveling. So, traveling within the system, between galaxies. And as it says here, to travel the vast expanses between stellar systems, there are two alternatives. Either travel below light speed in the suspended state of cryosleep, or travel by bridging on the huge experimental bridgercrafts that jump through space-time instantaneously between so-called bridging buoys. Bridging is rare and expensive, and jumps are made at most a few times per year and stellar system. So maybe it's a little bit, that's a little bit like The Expanse. See, The Expanse is also another good TV show to watch to give you an idea for this setting, I guess. And of course we have a whole variety of different malfunctions that may occur. We have travel time. That could be an interesting thing, but maybe as a GM, you take your adventure up to a certain point and you call it once your players are going to be traveling, so that it's a natural break in the game. But as soon as they come back, maybe that's when you roll for malfunctions or things like that, and they are thrown right back into the action. I think that could be a lot of fun. Okay, so we're on to combat. So there we go, combat rounds are 10 seconds. So yes, that jumping back in time would work out there. And again, just giving details on basically how you do your melee and your ranged combat. Detail on morale and initiative, death and healing, death in space. Come on, this has got to be the table we roll on. Let's see how our character potentially dies. 11. Oh, you are sliced to pieces after your spacecraft flies through a belt of micrometeorites that cut through your body like a hot plasma knife through fake butter. That's awesome. Come on, Roger. How is your character going to die? Give me a score out of 6. There we go. The information content of your entire body is forever lost in space and time after you misjudged the distance to the event horizon. So, I think you get sucked into a black hole there. That's a pretty bad way to go. That's funny. I like these. As I say, you can't expect your character to survive every game. So there's a bit of comedy in the way that you might go. Number 8, you are swimming through fire. Not a great idea to smoke just before a 0G nap. Because gosh, yes, again, think of what fire would be like in 0G. That's pretty horrific. I like it. Oh, you are eaten from the inside out after going into cryosleep together with a hungry flesh-eating bug. These are great. I like it. Oh, this is even better. During a planetary parachute jump, you realise that you are at the wrong planet, a gas giant. You have a lot of time to think about your demise before hitting the hydrogen oceans of the planet's interior. Oh, this is really good. And then number 20, you float in the middle of everything. You see the last second of existence before the cosmos closes around you. Nothing exists. These are brilliant. These are really, really good. I like it. Okay, so we need combat for our spacecraft. So, rules for that. Distances, movements, boarding other spacecraft, firing, damage. Let's is this gonna be a D20? No, it's a D12. Let's find what spacecraft disaster may occur. An 11. A random module is damaged and the spacecraft loses one condition. The damaged module cannot be used until the lost condition point is repaired. Okay, so one of our modules has taken damage. I'm hoping we're going to get to a point where we get some charts as tables on the different modules that we might have. Advancement. So if we do manage to survive... Oh, sorry, Roger. Sorry, you're rolling a 10. Let's find out what that is. The water tank system fails. Large blobs of cold, dirty water float through the whole ship, and the spacecraft loses one condition. We've got a leaky water system. So, advancement. At the end of every game session, discuss and answer the following questions in the group. Did you repair anything? Did you deliver on a dangerous contract? Did you use at least one void point? Did you discover a new and potentially dangerous place? Did you gain a new enemy? Did you find someone new that you can trust? Did you contribute with something especially memorable? Accumulated XP can be spent on improving the player character. So for each of those, you get 1 XP. You can improve your ability by 1 by the cost of 5, increasing ability by 1, raising it to +2, which is increased cost, increased maximum hit points, gain a cosmic mutation, takes 15 points, gain 1 additional origin benefit, then you can have 2 at the most, which is again another 15 points. So you can get it to potentially, if you did everything, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points per game is the potential if you did absolutely everything. Okay, so into extras, principles. So nothing is new. Communication, the war is still present. So this is just giving us some background, isn't it? This is, I guess this is the section for the GM, really, to help them along as far as creating the game setting. Yeah, who wants to live forever? Time is perceived differently when you can put life on hold in cryosleep. Although too much cryo can do things to your mind and body. Again, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? Because you could be in cryosleep, your character, for 50 years, and suddenly they wake up to find that everybody they used to know is long dead. You could actually spend several sessions and be over the course of a couple of 100 years. That could make a really interesting kind of setting, a little bit like the book and the TV show Foundation. Okay, so yes, this is the GM section. We are now looking at the Tenebris system. So slowly but surely the universe is dying. One by one, stars die in dazzling supernova explosions, and whole planetary systems are thrust into the emptiness between the stars. So Tenebris is populated by seekers, scoundrels and miners, all stuck in the system that was the epicenter of the gem rush and the resulting war. Let's see if we get a little bit... Oh yeah, we do. We get a star map, which is always good. The various jump points. Again, if anyone's played... Oh gosh, what's it called? Elite? Is it Elite Dangerous? That's a lot of fun, and it's a good way to sort of try and visualize how your players might want to be jumping from one system to another. Maybe they're going off exploring, maybe they're going mining to the asteroid belt. And so we're actually getting the map of the local system, the Tenebris system. We can see where the iron ring is around the moon of Inaru. We're getting details on gravity and travel time. Oh yes, we do have an asteroid belt. Of course, you can create your own system. You don't necessarily have to be here. But maybe this is a good place to start. So this is detailing the various key points within the system. So we've got the asteroid belt there. So this gigantic but dense belt of rock pieces and other more exotic materials is infamous for its danger, and only skillful pilots can navigate it successfully. The mining crawler Con PM-28 is based in the belt. During the war, it provided raw materials for all sides. Now it's just trying to survive as demand has plummeted. Several strange drugs originate from this sector, made from unknown substances found in the belt. Ah, so maybe this mining crawler, maybe there's an adventure to be had there. Is it going to give us details? Oh, we got an image here of the mining outpost. Oh, here we go. COMPM28. Wow, okay. I get the impression it's a big... Yeah, it's big. Oh, wow. Okay. So maybe... Oh, gosh. What's that old sci-fi film with Sean Connery where he's on a mining ship or a mining outpost? That could be an interesting... Ah, and this is detailed. We've got M1, M3. Is there an M2 somewhere? Do we get details on this? That looks like some kind of drop pod. Okay, so what do we have? We've got some factions, some various cults. Do we want to get caught up in them? Welcome to the ring. Now, is this... I don't want to go too far. Yes, it is an adventure, so we're not going to go into that. Let me just double check. Because what I want to do is... Yeah, we're going to skip right past this. We'll get to the final Outland. That's the one. And I think actually it did mention that right at the beginning, didn't it? Let's go past. Here we go. Tables and tools. This is the bit that I always like in any of these Morkborg style of games. All the tables. So... what might we meet? So here we go. Creatures of the Abyss. Let's find out what we're going to meet. This is a D8. A 4. A Nadai snake gets inside the body of its victim and consumes it from the inside. To get rid of the snake, snatch it when it is moving between body parts or cut off the limb. Oh, not good, not good. Oh, that's pretty gross. You got a 1. Apsis ape, hairy and muscular, great jaws filled with spiky teeth, intelligent and lethal, enjoys mimicking and ambushing its prey. Okay, they're cool. Like it. Oh, we got spiders, but we don't want to do that. So yes, we don't want to go to the abyss anytime soon. How about corrupted by the void? D6. What's the void done to us? A 3. Hive decayer. Similar to a huge louse fly, emits an unbearable smell of rotten meat. In its transparent belly, old victims remain in an infinite rotten state, both dead and alive. Oh, so it's pretty huge. It's a little bit like the Sarlacc pit, where you will be digested over 100 years. And you got a 3 as well, so. Yes. So if the void takes us, then we're both going to be digested for all eternity. That's fun. Deep Space Nightmares and Navy Tales. So what do we got? We got some triggers. What type of nightmare might we have? Let's see what triggers us. A 3. Motion detectors can be adjusted to trigger on motion on different forms and speeds, running, walking, and down to vibrations. Oh, so no, this is setting up actual traps, isn't it? So we can have a motion detector. What kind of obstacle? So we put that there. So we've got a motion detector with 666, a jump mine. Hidden load of explosives that jump a meter vertically before detonating. Ooh, that's nasty. Okay, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Motion detector, senses somebody walking across, mine jumps up, boom, chops them in half. You got a 2, a pressure plate. Okay, so they stand on it, and what's going to happen? 16. A crusher, a small room where heavy walls or metal arms compress contents to a 1 by 1 meter cube, almost harmless if you are alone and can fit inside, less so for larger groups of people. So it's the trash compactor. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, especially if there's a couple of us. That's cool. I like it. Let's see what else we got. Space encounters. So we've got a D10 type and a D6 encounter. All right, let's do this. Let's see what we get. So we've got a 5 and a 5. 5 and 5. All right. So it's combat. And a small mining station riddled with drug problems, ruled with an iron fist on the verge of a riot. So that's what we find. What about you, Roger? What did you get? You need to do me the D10 first and then the D6. What do we find as we're venturing out beyond the stars? A 7 and a 2. Okay. 7 out of fuel and a 2. A merchant hauler with a crew of sol pods selling ancient tech. What's a sol pod? Who are sol pods? These are the questions. Okay. 50 locations around the Iron Ring. The Iron Ring being that massive space station. We got a D100. So we'll use that dice and we'll use this dice. Let's see what we get. Where are we going to visit? That is 69. So let's see what that is. And let's see if the designers have a sense of humor. The Red Dragon Inn. A narrow, long corridor draped in dim red lights. Along one wall is a bar, along the other sleeping capsules. A dive for the black market salvagers and off-contract miners. 83. What's it? 83. Pell Bells. Experiences. Non-Sci hangouts, where users connect to each other instead of a server. Results in an infinity mirror effect, and you can meet yourself in the abyss. Ooh, okay, that's weird. Users connect to each other instead of a server. Oh, okay. So is this a kind of you're going to use cables to link to somebody else? So maybe you have some sort of cyber jack in your arm or in the back of your head, which means that you can see the person in front of you, and the person in front of you can see you, which means you can see through their eyes seeing you, which you are seeing them seeing you. That's very messed up, but interesting. I like it. I think I'd rather go to the Red Dragon though. Oh, addictive substances. Why not? Oh gosh, here we go. Roll 1d20 when using an addictive substance. On a natural roll of 1, the player character opens a door that should have remained closed. The void has found a way in. Roll on the corruption table in. Okay, but we have a variety of different substances that all could be. Let's roll. Let's see. It's got to be a 1. Would we get corrupted by taking one of these substances? 19? No, we were okay. Do you get a 1? What do we have here? You rolled a 1. You're addicted. Like it. We got some nice imagery of another much larger spaceport. Aha! So here we go. Tables on spacecrafts. So we have different space frames. And this is interesting. So we've got haulers and light freighters and colony ships. Again, none of them are nice and pretty. They're all rugged, which I like. Different power systems. So depending on how much money we've got, we can maybe boost up our engines. Different modules. And of course they have a power cost. Depending on how much power our space station or craft generates, will determine how many of these we can actually have. I like that we can have a bar. That's good. More modules, workshops, cargo bays, merchant deck. Tech modules. So you could spend a lot of time just putting your station or your ship together with this. It's a lot of fun. Different weapon systems. This is cool. This is really good. Oh, too far. Yep, there we go. Different hubs for non-player characters. Stations and spacecraft. Different crews. For you to be able to quickly generate. Different weapons. Armors. Guns. Contractors. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's generate. So this is basically putting together what our mission might be. Again, I love this stuff. All right. So first of all, let's work through. We got to do, what is our contract? 17. It's a heist. Okay. And what payment are we going to get? 1. A hollow debt that needs to be collected. Okay. So we're going to pay off our debt. Inspiration. It's going to be from a person or event. We could choose. Let's find out. A person is an imposter, but the event is a riot. So we're doing a heist. Are we doing... So the inspiration is during a riot? What group? A 3. Miners. So it's a miners' riot. We're having to do a heist during a miners' riot. Oh, maybe have we instigated the riot so that we can get to maybe the miners have a payment cache, and that's what we're trying to get. But here we go. Object. So our heist, what are we trying to get? A 6, a module. So maybe it's the banking, it's the safe, it's the payment module. Okay. All right. Location. We need to have a D12. Where's that? There it is. Is this going to work for us? A 3. Visiting asteroid. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah. So it's miners on an asteroid where there's a riot happening. We are going to heist the payment module. And what's the unknown element that potentially is going to happen? 6. Void static. I wonder what that is. Maybe does it mean that people can't use any of their special abilities? Okay, we can look to interpret that. Wow. Okay, Rogi, you give me some numbers. Let's see what we've got. Let's work it through. So there you go. We're doing a heist. We are trying to pay. Our payment's going to be one of our debts is going to be paid off for us. We're going to set up some sort of a riot with the miners because we're going to be stealing their payment cache on an asteroid. There you go. So what you're doing, 9. You're going to tow. You're towing another ship. Your payment is a bigger contract. So in other words, you do this one, you're going to be able to get a bigger contract from the same company that's going to sort you out well. 6. Okay, you get this from a company employee. That would seem to work nicely there. And you're towing the Ring gang. Is it a gang from the Ring? Or you're doing it for them, maybe? The location, derelict spacecraft. Okay, that works. And what object might be there? Might be weapons. So maybe, okay, so it's a derelict spacecraft that has a unique sort of a weapons system, and you're having to tow it for a gang on the Ring. Maybe the person you got it from was a company employee, so maybe you're trying to do this. Company employees told you the details, but you're actually doing it for a gang because that's where there's some payment. Maybe something like that. That's fun, I like that. We got NPC generator. So we can just create somebody. Their first and last names. Give them a background, some looks. Oh. And then we're at effectively the back of the book. So here's the cheat sheet. Where we can pretty much just have a quick guide to all the aspects of the game we need to see. And that is it. That's a lot of fun. I like it. let's go back to that screen just there. So there you go. That is basically Death in Space. Everything you need to create yourselves adventures in a universe that is on the brink of collapse. Did you enjoy that, Roger? Did you like the type of characters and the tables that we got to roll on? The great thing about these Morkborg style of games is that they are very, very quick to generate characters, to play a quick game around a table. And I like the speed of them. These are not necessarily games that are going to go on. Well, in essence, you could go on for quite some time, but you've got to kind of have that ability that, you know, your character might die. And that's okay. That's part of the game experience. You know, life is fleeting in this particular universe. Very nice and easy to make character and ship quickly. You could get into the adventure quickly as well. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun. Granted, you know, the GM probably has to do at least a reasonable amount of work just to fill in some of the gaps. But I think you could have a lot of fun with it. I like it. But then the thing is, I do like all the Morkborg games. I think they're a good fun. And I like their style. So, there we go. Let's just go to that one. Pretty much wrap things up for this evening. We will be taking a look at some other books that were acquired during the UK Games Expo. Next week we'll have a show on Tuesday and Thursday. Be sure to check out the channel's socials on those days to find out, or join us on Discord. Details in the video post on how to join the community there if you want to find out what we're going to be taking a look at a little bit earlier. Thank you, Roger, for taking part. I'm glad that you enjoyed. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and look forward to seeing you next time. But until then, bye for now.